In rural Venezuela, an HIV hotspot, the virus has ripped through the country's second largest indigenous community after being contracted by just one person about 20 years ago. Rafael Pequeño is a nurse and chief of the village of San Francisco de Guayos. This is where the Venezuelan Red Cross first detected the virus in 2007. Rafael is paying a visit to Eduardo, who tested positive when he was just 18. He takes antiretroviral drugs that stop his HIV from developing into fatal AIDS, but doesn't have any treatment to temper its side effects.
You have
to go to the hospital to get medicine. Things are tough right now. The local government doesn't send much here. It can take as much as a year for new supplies to reach us.
Indigenous peoples as cut off from the world as the Warao are not usually exposed to HIV. The first 5 cases of AIDS were discovered in this village, but patient 0 was never tracked down. The virus quickly spread to the neighbouring communities.
They are given medication, but it's not enough. The virus hasn't been eradicated from San Francisco de Guayos.
A study 10 years ago found just under 10% of this people had HIV, compared to a global average of less than 1%, and predicted infections would double each year. 16-year-old Freddie has stopped taking his life-saving antiretroviral medicine.
At first, I felt fine, but now that I'm no longer getting treatment, I've relapsed. I'm not well. My dad told me to give up on treatment because I was feeling better.
He was infected at just 14 after a trip to the Cambelache dump, a place where prostitution and drug trafficking is rife. The landfill hundreds of kilometers away is where many villagers go to scavenge for food and clothes, and over half who go there come back with HIV. Some locals don't trust modern medicine, and when they develop AIDS symptoms, they go to this shaman, whose own family hasn't been spared.
My 2 sons got infected. Marcelo was 28 when he died.
Evelio is 30 and found out he was HIV positive when he was just 20. He shows us the graves of his uncle and brother, who both died of AIDS. He's afraid of sharing their fate.
It's sad to have caught the virus. I want to stay healthy and live a long time. I'm scared.
Scientists warn the Waraos are infected with a more virulent strain of the virus that kills faster and is easier to catch. Without treatment, it can take up to 15 years for HIV-positive people to develop symptoms of AIDS. But the Warao are developing the fatal disease within less than 5 years of being infected.
We test people who arrive at the hospital and we start treatment, but there are patients that by the time they reach us are already in a very bad state. We do everything we can for our patients who test positive for HIV.
Many people don't even know what HIV and AIDS is, but others fear seeking what little help is available more than the virus itself.
There are some people who've been infected with the virus, but would rather let it kill them than accept it and be treated.
Tuberculosis and hepatitis B is also common here, and as AIDS suppresses the immune system, once a local has caught one disease, they'll most likely catch another. As most residents don't register their births or deaths, there are few statistics available to expose the scale of the problem. But what little data there is shows that almost half of all deaths among this people were due to infectious diseases. After a decade of exponential growth, HIV and AIDS could now pose an existential threat. and at least one community has already disappeared so far. Though the Waraos live much as their ancestors did and still speak their own language rather than Spanish, the modern disease of HIV now threatens their traditional way of life.